Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Underdog Podcast. Today, I have an incredible guest here with me. Medina, how are you, my friend?
Very good, Pamela. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I know you're out in Houston. I'm here in Boston. They kind of rhyme. All I know is the main thing right now is that it's hot as hell in both places.
Especially Houston.
I
So,
can only imagine. I think I saw somebody baking bread in a mailbox in Houston most recently. They put it, with the pan in their mailbox, and then, 1 hour later opened it up and there was a full loaf of bread.
yes, yes, that's true. Today it's in a little better, 95. So it was 99 and 100, 102 last week. So that's but where I came from, I think it is I feel at home. So
Really?
yeah, in India, so it's a hot and humid.
I love that. I can't wait to get into your story in full detail, my
Yeah.
friend. Seriously,
Yeah.
you've got such an impressive story, and what you've built in the investing space is really, 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 really incredible. So I'm going to start off with my first question for you, because I'm interested to know, like, how did this all start? We mentioned before the call you came to Boston and you lived up in Lowell. This was the first state that you've been to.
Yes.
What inspired you on your journey to where you are today, my friend?
So again, my journey started in '93. You know, let me just go a little bit further than that. So I born and brought up in a really small village in India, right? So village is like maybe there are not even 100 families there, maybe 50 families, I think, right?
Wow.
So my parents are they are into agriculture. We have some land, and that's pretty much our bread and butter. Okay, so and we had no electricity in our village. I can imagine. So until I went to college, we did not even have electricity. So that's pretty much where I came from, right? So I did okay in school. Went to college and undergrad, and also then I did. Master's because my dad wanted me to do a master's um, because I was not ready. I thought maybe I'll go and do some job because he needs some help financially, but he said no, we had to do a master's. So because I did pretty good in school, so the government was paying me to go to do my master's. So that's how I finished the master's. Before I finished the master's, so my dad. Uh, fix my wedding my match actually. So he found some girl. So I need to. He said you need to get married. Okay, so that's what happened, and then I got a job in the India for I worked there for a year, and my company I was working for, they shipped me to Boston. That's how I landed here. Okay. So again, the story is that the job I was doing, whatever I saved up, they said I'm going to Boston. It's going to be really cold. I need to buy a bunch of winter clothing. So whatever the money I saved, I went and did the shopping. Okay, so that's pretty much my savings. And so whatever the change I left with, I converted that into dollars in the airport. So I got $20. So that's my $20 story. Actually, I just came to US with the $20. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what happened from that point on, because you've looking at what you've done now is like unbelievable. It's so incredible, and people of course look at you and they're like, oh my goodness, this is the, overnight success, right? But you and I know, like, it
Oh,
was,
trust
well,
me, there's no
years.
overnight unless you get the lottery or something. Okay. So even if you get the lottery, it's not going to be a real success because most of the lottery winners end up being poor again, right? So yes, I came in as a tech worker, worked with my limited limited English and limited knowledge. I had nobody in the US, pretty much no relatives, no friends. So, uh, so I worked hard, and luckily I got my green card in a couple of years. Okay, when I came in. So after I got my green card, I was trying to do my own freelancing kind of stuff. Okay, being an IT worker. So my customer said, no, we cannot pay you directly, so you need to have your own corporation or something. So that's how I was forced to open my corporation actually. So I was not even thinking about it. So anyway, so fast forward, I become a U.S. citizen, and uh, got my contract with the U.S. Army actually. So that's where I moved to. Actually, I was traveling to Washington D.C. From Houston on a weekly basis, and I was working on the project. And my customer, U.S. Army, have their medical U.S. Army Medical Command. They have some warehouses in other different countries. So I used to travel implementing a solution. So I did that for 10 years. While I was doing that, I developed my company. Remember, I was working for my own company as an employee. I was the only employee. So I developed that company, developed the relationship in a DC, in that government contracting market. Companies like IBMs or big companies, right? So got some subcontracting work, and develop the past performance. Like to do work in the government, you need to have your past experience of working with them. It's like a catch-22 kind of stuff, right? Uh, so the only way you can do that is being a subcontractor, small guy in a big project with a big company. So that's what I did, and developed enough qualifications you need. So we start bidding on some of the projects. So again, we were successful. We have several prime contracts right now, close to 500 employees. We do work mostly with the Department of Defense. That's where most of my 500 employees are working. So that was my IT company, and I hired a right team, and I have a chief operating officer, a CFO, a lot of program managers, vice presidents of operations. They do this day-to-day operations of that company. So until COVID hits, I was traveling to DC every week. So when the COVID started, all my meetings in DC got canceled. So I didn't have to travel. So I was at home getting bored actually. So I had this real estate stuff back of my mind. I should invest, and I need to get more deeper into the real estate, but I never had time to do it. Okay, so because of my schedule, because me traveling to DC every week. So COVID helped me get into the real estate for a couple of reasons. Yeah, one
love that.
One was I had a free time. Two was because our IT company is growing, so I had to find a way to save some income tax, right? So the best way to save taxes is to get into more in real estate. I don't know. I'm sure you already know that, right? So with a lot of depreciations and other tax benefits. Okay, that's exactly what I did. And I just started small and buying a bunch of single-family homes just to get some idea. And I did close to 100 of them in 1 year. And I said, too much work because I could not scale up with the single family. One closing, one at a time, it's very hard going to title companies and doing the stuff, right? And so I said, okay, I need to scale up. So that's why I looked at the multifamily. So apartment complexes. So I can just go there and buy 100, 200, 300 apartments with the one transaction. Okay. So, and also you have a dedicated team for that particular property. In the single family, the single family homes are spread out everywhere. So maintenance of that, it's a kind of a headache, right?
Right.
Houston is so big. From one side of the Houston to the other side takes more than an hour. Okay, so so the single family was I could not scale up, so I moved to the multifamily because of that reason. I scale up. Plus, I have a dedicated team at the property, like a maintenance people, property manager, leasing assistants, all of this. So, fast forward, again, I started off just investing myself, but whatever money I have, I could do only certain number of properties. So what I did is like, okay, I'm already doing this for myself, saving taxes. Why can't I offer this to other people? Plus, scale up, go and buy bigger properties and more properties. So I offered that to other high net worth individuals who do not have time to go and do the investment in the real estate and take advantage of that. I'm like, they had to go and look for the property, underwrite, go and do the loan, and also work with the rehab and manage those properties. That's like more than a full-time job. If you're an entrepreneur, let's say you're doing some IT work or right, so you don't. This is like you do not have that much time to go and do it. So what I was just doing is I already spent the time and invested money and time, and I already have a great team. Okay, why can't we offer this to other folks? They can take advantage of. Plus, they don't have to go and fix those toilets and take care of the day-to-day tenant issues. That's pretty much where the Macan Investment Group came into existence, actually. So now we have around 3,500 units, around $350 million assets, and we manage. And again, we continue to underwrite, continue to look for the properties. Would like to continue to buy those properties. As we speak right now, I'm buying a $45 million 330 unit apartment complex in Katy, Texas, which is a nicer neighborhood actually. So that's the one we are going through due diligence right now.
I absolutely love that, Medina. Man, you've got a lot going on, and what an interesting journey going from IT to real estate and just everything. It's fascinating to me. Now, I want to reel it back just a little bit because we're going to connect all the dots here.
Sure.
What did you want to be when you grew up? Because you said you grew up in the village in India and there was no electricity. So like what was your motivation, growing up? Like what did you want to be as an adult?
No, actually, honestly, when growing up, I really wanted to be a civil engineer. Okay. I ended up in the computer side, but I really wanted to be a civil engineer. So now it's kind of all coming together because now we're building a new apartment complexes. So I'm like kind of playing the civil engineering side of it, but it was not. But growing up, I really wanted to be a civil engineer. Okay. So,
that's so cool.
Yes.
That's so cool. Oh my goodness. And who or what inspired you from a young age?
It's my dad. Pretty much. My dad was not educated, but he saw the future for me. The parents have their instincts. So he used to tell me that when you grow up, I see you are going to spend more time in the air than on the ground. So now I was just sitting here and traveling. I said, how does he know when I was like a less than a 10-year-old that what I'm going to be doing when I grow up, right? We lost him, but I would just wonder sometimes and say, how does he know? Okay, because I'm traveling a lot. Okay, so he's uneducated, so he has no idea about where the U.S. is and nothing, right? So he's just a small farmer, right? It just do the agriculture work. Okay.
That's incredible. It's crazy how the parents have that instinct
Oh,
and that intuition.
Yes.
That's so fascinating. And then like coming to the US too, because this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, right? Like they talk about, oh yeah, you come here as land of opportunity. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what would be like, through your experience, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced when you did get here and started basically building yourself right from the ground up, if you will?
Yeah.
Because none of this came overnight for you. You worked very, very hard to get where you are. So for anybody who, for all the immigrants out there that are maybe new to this country, or thinking about coming here, expats, whatever they may be,
Yeah.
what were some of your biggest challenges and how did you overcome them, and what would be your advice to them?
This is the only country in the whole world where you have freedom, resources, opportunities. If you honestly want to work hard, and with honesty, obviously. So yes, there is no limit for the growth. Okay, and but if you are just come here and say, okay, somebody help me out, that's not happening, right? So for me, I just came with the fire in the belly and as a passionate about, and also I never seen the money. So for me, money was not a motivation, first of all. I don't know why.
I
Because
love that.
yeah, because where I came from, I never seen the money. Okay. And obviously the family background, we hardly see the money, right? So for me, even today, I don't, whatever I do, I don't look at the money side of it. Okay, I just, okay, I really like this one. It's the satisfaction. Plus, I'm helping other people, and also I'm just trying to prove that okay, yes, there is you could grow. Okay, there's no limit. So it's kind of somebody watching you say, okay, yes, this guy who's not that smart and can't really speak good English, but he's doing it. I should be able to do better than him. So I just want to be example. Yeah, that's pretty much for me. Like it's not people. A lot of people say, okay, how much money did I make this month, this year? I really that was not my measurement actually. Unfortunately, I don't know. Okay, maybe it's a good and bad, but that's the reason I think I have a most of my employees, they are with me for a long time because I'm not talking in terms of money when I talk to them. So I talk to them, first of all, what is in there for them, why they should be working for me, right? So I kind of more think from their point of view. I put myself in their shoes and say, I don't want you to just work for me. I don't want you to, if you are working from 8 to 5, I really don't want you to work for me. Okay. So that's why when I bring in folks, I look for that thing. So we're pretty much working all the time. I have a team, we're texting back and forth even at like 10 o'clock in the night. So it's not, nobody is looking, okay, hey, 5 o'clock, I'm off, I'm going home, right? So we are. So that's, I try to example on this. And when we buy a property, like let's say last one we bought was $120 million, right? So I do bring in my executives as a partners. It could be a smaller percentage, but they are part of that property, part of that. They do have some shares in that company which owns that property. Okay, so they feel the ownership because they are not eligible to invest in that property because we take only, according to SEC, we take only the accredited investors who has a net worth was more than $1 million, and so you know that definition. So, but they are, I make them make sure they are they participate in that. They do have some percentage of share in that property. So they feel that,
Wow.
yeah, the ownership of that. So they're not working for somebody 8 to 5 kind of stuff. Even though they are W-2 employees, but I'm just trying to make sure they participate in that upside. So when we sell the property down the road, they do make good enough money, and they say when they are working day to day, so they know that okay, hey, I'm working for myself partly, basically. Plus, you're getting paid for it. Okay, right.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I love that your motivation has always been not money, because some people come here and it's like that's what it's about. And then you get, then you think about like, oh my God, much am I making this month? How much? So I love the mindset of like
Yeah,
helping people and really helping build something solid. And,
yeah,
and even in your company structure now that you offer that equity stake to your employees, I think that's really, really key. I think we're entering a time and place where people, don't just want to work. They want to work somewhere where they feel appreciated, that they're part of something, and
yeah,
all of that. So I absolutely love that. I love that mindset.
yeah. I'd never do any unilateral decision. I do bring the team in and I get buy-in. So that's they again feel they're part of the decision making. So that's uh, even on my other company or even real estate, pretty much I follow the same. And also I'm getting good at scaling the companies. Okay, scaling the business. Okay, so that's the main component is like identifying who can do the stuff, right? So I never look for how can I do it. I always say who can do this. Okay, so
I love that.
yeah, when you start looking at say, I try to look at the forest instead of the trees. So so that way you're not drowned in that details, and you don't have time to go and see what other opportunities out there. So that's what I hire people where I'm weak. Actually, I'm not really detailed person, which is working out okay. Okay, so I'm looking at more strategic stuff. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But Dina, I love that you mentioned that because I want to get back to how do you scale and delegate. But before we do that, you mentioned that you went from IT to real estate investing, to multifamily real estate investing, and COVID pushed you into that. So while most people were freaking out about life, you were building something new,
Yeah.
which I think is amazing. So how did you make that pivot? Because for some people it could be super scary. If you're IT and real estate are very parallel realms, it feels like. So how
Yeah.
did you make that jump, and what were your first steps in pivoting into that space?
Again, I had some idea about the real estate because I bought few single family homes and one fourplex when in 2010. So I didn't have time. I gave it to some property management company to manage it. So I get that monthly statement, say what problems are coming and stuff like that. So, but I really know it's not a. I want to tell this again to your audience. Real estate is not a rocket science. It's a very basic. Everybody, all of us have some knowledge about because you own or you rent a place, you pretty much know. Okay. The only thing you
Yep.
don't know is that how do I get funding? Where do I get? Where can I borrow? And where can I get the equity? Okay. Uh, what if I cannot borrow? What can I do? There are ways. So they maybe don't know that piece, but otherwise, the real estate is pretty much not the rocket science, right? So how I got in, I had a little bit idea, and also I had the idea about getting deeper into real estate one day. But that one day I did not know. So the COVID kind of brought that one day to me. Okay, that's pretty much.
Mm,
Uh, I went through a bunch of books online, spoke to some people who are in real estate, and also I invested as a passive in somebody else apartment complexes. So I kind of know the life cycle of the apartment complex. How do you identify? How do you underwrite? There are a lot of books on it. How do you asset manage it? How do you property management it? Right. So
right.
that I'm good. I do read and I pick up stuff faster. Okay, so I do read, by the way. So I plus I do talk to people. Okay, go to a couple of conferences, go to networking events. So but again, at the COVID time, there's not much going on. So the books were like pretty much my source of information. Okay, how do people raise the money? Okay, how do they raise the equity when you want to buy the property, right? So I read a lot of books, and the main thing is not that I said I'm not smart. So I start hiring who are doing the work in that space. Okay. So I took almost 2 years Remember, I bought a 350, 3,500, 3,500 units, which is like almost $350 million. So we did not buy anything for last 1 year because I just want to make sure stabilize and build a strong team, build a strong foundation because we are still just got started. Okay, so $350 million is not much. So where we want to go. So that's why I took a break for almost a year, building the team, building the processes, because I'm a technology guy. Okay, I don't want anybody doing anything manual. So I want everything on the system. I want pretty much real time. If a dollar coming in or a dollar going out, I want that on the system show up right away. Okay, so nothing off the record. Okay, so that's pretty much what we did, and now we're just buying that $45 million asset right now as we speak. And so we'll continue to buy more. And I have a strong team. We do underwrite every day. We get a lot of deals from off market from bigger brokers in town. Most of them are nationwide companies. We do get deals from Texas, Florida, and other companies, other states, and we try to focus on the more like a landlord-friendly states, okay, which
Yes.
are, yeah, so you know which one I'm talking about. It's more Republican states are like they are landlord-friendly, okay. So that's pretty much where we are. But right now we have properties in Texas and also Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, so that's the only two states we have. But going forward, we will be buying in Florida, South and North Carolina, and Georgia. That's where we are going next.
I absolutely love that, Medina. I love that. And what piece of advice would you give to anybody who's looking to start an investment fund or anything like that out there, or looking to invest into a fund? So I guess the investors and then those entrepreneurs that are looking to start their own thing, because going from IT to real estate, it still blows my mind how you were able to make that pivot in so fast too.
Yeah. So again, for both of them, somebody wants to do the passive, or somebody wants to say, okay, hey, you know what, I would like to buy myself and manage it. I still recommend you invest in, it doesn't need to be with us, but somebody who's buying a decent asset with a good returns, the fundamentals, check the numbers, ask the questions, invest as a passive, invest a smaller amount, could be 50,000, 100,000. So you are part of the process. You learn a lot of things because you are part of those the webinars. You run through the deal. You look at the financials because we send the financials on a monthly basis. Okay, you know what we're doing at the property, what are the expenses, all the details come to you because you are a part owner. Even though you are a passive investor, you get all the details. So I would recommend you do at least one or two, even if you want to do it on your own. So that way you learn faster. Okay, instead of reading a book, you could pick a lot of things from the book. But if you are a passive investor, let's say the one we are doing right now, $45 million. Let's say you put $100,000, you are invited to the deal analysis. You see where we're getting a loan, how much interest we're paying, what other expenses we underwrote, what is the pro forma income is going to be, what is the expenses. You get a lot of those, plus you get a monthly statements, right? Okay, this is what we planned, pro forma, and when you get that monthly, you see how we are performing. So you learn a lot of things from that, okay? So if I have a 300-unit apartment, how many people are working there? How many is a manager, assistant manager, how many maintenance guys? You get that knowledge because if you are part of it, okay? So yes, for those two categories, whether you just want to be passive or you want to be go and buy it, just experiment that being a passive for at least 1 or 2 days. Okay. So or you partner with somebody who is buying it. So that way now you are really technically not in a driver's seat, but you're co-driver or co-pilot, right? So you learn that way. Okay.
I
Yes.
love that. I absolutely love that, Medina. And those are for those who want to invest in a fund. It's almost like they're part owners and they're on the ride with you, which is really cool, but they don't have to do the actual work.
They're like in a co-pilot, right? So you are
Yeah.
you're watching what the pilot is doing, but you are you invested some money, or you don't have to technically sign the loan, but it's yeah. So we did take a couple of people. But normally I do it myself, but if somebody come in and say, okay, hey, I want to invest some learn, so we bring him as a we call it a co-GP. It's a co-general partner. Okay.
Yeah.
So depends on what is his share is. He doesn't need to even sign the loan. Okay. So the last one I signed was $120 million we borrowed. So I just I'm the only I signed that one. Okay. So if somebody wants to learn, and again, our website, it's makaninvestmentgroup.com. So it'll take less than 30 seconds. They can just put their name and contact information. Someone will get back to them right away. Okay, and they go into our database. If we are doing some free webinars, how the multifamily works, or if we have a deal going on, we will invite people listen to our deal, how we underwrote, and what this property is, what we are planning to do with the property. We go into detail on that. So you get the invitation for those webinars. You don't have to, if you are not ready, you don't have to invest, but at least visit our website and register there. Okay.
That's awesome, Medina. That's awesome. And for the investors, the real estate investors that are listening, according to your experience, what are some biggest tips when looking at a property? Like, how do you know it's a great investment property, right? Because now you've built a multifamily fund. You're at 350 million in 3 years now?
No, it's less than 3 years.
Less than 3 years. That's amazing.
Yeah. Remember, we did not buy anything for last 14 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
So we did not buy because of